Livestock farmers across the regions of northern Victoria and the Riverina and outback of New South Wales and into South Australia to areas north of the River Murray, you would be well aware of the problem of wild dogs and the need for a fence that is currently under construction and being rebuilt. However, there is a further threat where some New South Wales ecologists have published a study that, based on their analysis of NASA satellite logs over 30 years, they've looked at these logs and they say there's more greenery on the northern side of the fence, and so they're suggesting that the dog fence may be something we should get rid of. Well, Flow News 24 has the story online in a response from Victoria Nationals leader Peter Walsh, whose seat is in Victoria's northern part of the state, and he said some research ignores the difference between pastoral country and the more intensive country in Victoria, which is cropped. Country Viewpoints carried the story recently, and Jace Regan and his team have highlighted on Flow News 24's podcast about the Patchawalik farmer who has lost 50 sheep to wild dogs, and that the Victorian government is still refusing to rule out letting more dingoes loose in the Grampians. In South Australia, we've sought comment from the SA government that is investing in upgrading the dog fence and whether this New South Wales ecologist study undermines spending and confidence in the dog fence. As Peter Walsh has pointed out in his comments on Flow News 24, wild dogs cost $89 million to the livestock industry nationwide. When you consider another story up on Flow News 24 in the last 24 hours about the huge contribution that our livestock industry is making to our economy and particularly our exports, you have to wonder why governments might pay heed to ecologists who, I think, care about restoring nature to a state that we can't go back to. After all, you're looking at the situation in, say, North America and Europe. They're restoring wolves to regions and polar bears in Arctic areas, and that not only is dangerous for the livestock of that area, but to the people who live there as well. So we're going to keep you posted at Flow News 24 and track this as a developing story. I think if you are going to have a livestock industry that is going to grow, and given what we've heard in the last few months about the need for us to grow our exports, in particular sheep meat and beef exports, and the value that is to our economy and to everybody who has a job and prospers from our GDP, including those that are writing reports on the ecological value of dingoes and wild dogs, I suggest to you that they may well be barking up the wrong tree when it comes to releasing wild dogs and not protecting our livestock.